Era Janice, and she is coming to us live from Sacramento, California. So, welcome, Sierra.
Thank you so much, Patrice. I'm so excited to be here.
Yes, and I'm excited about you sharing some of your skills, insight, and things like that with the Facebook group. Give us a little bit of background about your backstory. Anything you want to share with us to help us get acquainted with you.
Yeah, of course. I've the way I kind of ended up in my web design is very convoluted. I'm sure that's the way most of us ended up in our online businesses, of course.
Yeah.
Years ago, I was into travel blogging, and so I had a little travel blog on the side for fun. And that's when I learned to do web design for my own website, because I realized I wanted that control. I wanted to figure it out. So lots of, online videos, things like that. And then over the years, I've done web design projects for friends, like small businesses, their author sites, things like that. And it wasn't until this year, 2020, that I took the leap to actually make a launch my official business. That's kind of what got
Okay.
me where I am now.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you. Yes, very excited.
All right. So, with your web design, you've covered your experience. Will you share with us your website? Because I know people will want to connect with you later. So, just share with us your website and what thought did you put into it as you were developing the website and things like that. Because I, over the years, I've created websites for clients.
Mhm.
But the thought process that goes into the pre-planning of that
Mhm.
is pretty extensive and it makes the rest of the process go rather smoothly. So, share with us some insight and tips that you have.
Oh, yes, that's an excellent question. My website, first of all, I'll start with that. It's Sierra Lynn Design. So
Okay.
SIERRALIN design.com. And I love that you mentioned that, Patrice, that it does, I would totally agree. The planning, so important. When I make my client sites, I always tell them, this planning part, it's going to be the longest part. Once you're done with this,
Hmm.
whew, we're done with that. Design part is actually going to go really fast. That's how it works.
Yeah.
For me, when I started my web design business, I had a completely different niche, a different industry I was focusing on than what I am today. If you go to my website now, it's perfect. You'll actually see a coming soon page because I am once again doing a rehaul, readjusting things. So I think the number one tip I would give people, okay, two tips. First, have a call to action. We always hear that, but think of it as a goal that you want your website visitor to take when they come to the website. One call to action or one goal that you want them to take. For me, I want them to download one of my freebies to get on my email list so they can learn more about my different services. That's my one goal. For you, it might be booking a discovery call. It might be purchasing if you actually have a downloadable product, something like that. And second, know that it's okay to change things down the road, especially when we're branding and showing our businesses, which for us solopreneurs, like that's such a big part of who we are. It's okay to change your mind.
Right.
I'm a designer and I've done it so too many times to count right. It's okay if you got to throw up a cover page for a weekend, say coming soon, so you can go behind the scenes, tweak it to readjust what you want to reflect or a new goal if you have it.
So, what I heard you say is we're going to start with the end goal and then we do backwards planning. So, the tasks, the
Beautiful.
milestones, and things like that all lead up to this, whatever this one goal is that you have, or two goals based on the services you provide or whatever. Okay.
Exactly. Yeah, that keeps it
So,
not so overwhelming trying to like do everything on your website at once. Trying to have what do you
mhm.
want your visitor to do, one goal for them, makes it easier when you're trying to plan it.
Yeah, I totally agree. So, I know your niche is helping with female coaches.
It is, yes.
So, what common need or common factor do you find that covers across all of your clients in terms of helping them build their websites?
Yes, I love working with coaches because number one, I love the passion they bring to their business. They want to help people, they want to help their clients so much. So it's an honor for me to get to be a small piece of that because when I
Hmm.
help them, it makes me feel like at least in some small, tiny way, I get to help all those women that they would then serve as their clients. And they're such a pleasure to work with because they have this heart and passion and drive to get their website showing really who they want to be as a personal brand. So they have a lot of passion behind their business. It's not just about the money for them, although that's an incredibly important piece, right? It's fun to
Right.
have the
Yeah.
whole, it's fun to have the
But that's not
whole.
the motivating drive. Yeah.
Exactly. So it's fun. For websites, normally when we do a redesign or I take maybe what they threw together on their own and we try to make a comprehensive brand, the main thing we try to focus on is how do we take their website visitors to that same goal, kind of like we talked about before. What's that goal? Because a lot of the times, coaches, of course, need people to get on a discovery call or a consultation, whatever that first chat is. But that can sometimes feel like too big of a goal for a website visitor. Like if they're just kind of checking out your site, if you're
Hmm.
a coach, they might feel like I'm not quite ready to press book now, even for a free call. So we try to take one more step back and go, okay, what little step can we give them? Normally subscribing to an email list with a freebie or a download first so they can learn more and then later book the discovery call down the road.
Right. Okay. So that's the common thing that you provide that solution of what that piece of the process would be that would help them get their clients to that bigger goal and have a level of trust and comfort with them.
Exactly, yes. Most
Okay,
people
cool.
come to me wanting the colors and the fonts and everything, which is fun, but we also have to take into account the strategy of the behind the scenes design too. So,
Yeah.
mhm.
Yeah, I tell people all the time, give me an ugly website that works.
Exactly, exactly.
And so they're like, oh, I said, yeah, the aesthetics are later. You
Mhm.
wanted to do what you needed to do. But if you could just focus on that thought process, that'll help us get to where we need to get to faster.
I like
Um, so, do you have a website platform preference?
I do. I'm biased, and I've worked with multiple different ones. Most all the big name ones I could think of, I've built websites on, as I was working with my clients. Sometimes they have a preference, but now, working with a lot of them, I really like WordPress. I really like WordPress. The other one that I was thinking of that's not my favorite almost came out of my mouth. Nothing wrong with any of the ones though. It's all,
No.
I really believe personal preference. And yeah,
Yeah.
I like WordPress. I use the Elementor page builder, which I know as
Yes.
designers we have some people love, some people hate. I'm on the love side, so I love the
I'm on the love
customizability.
side too. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like that
It,
it's
it
easy for clients.
yeah, and I just think it's more intuitive for me. My thought
Mhm.
process, it's more intuitive. And so I'm right there with you. And I love the expansion capabilities of WordPress because back when we first started designing websites, and I'm revealing my age, once you designed the site, that tool was pretty much good for that. And
Mhm.
if you were to grow, you had to move to another tool.
Mhm.
So I find it very helpful that WordPress to me is like an accordion. It can expand and contract as you need it, you know. And no, I'm not paid to
Yeah, me neither.
sponsor or mention or anything about WordPress. This is just about industry preferences. Now, let's go deeper into this process because we talked about people think of aesthetics when they think about websites, but there's hosting that needs to be done. There's establishment of a domain, things like that. Do you walk your clients through the process, and or do you provide any of those things? How does that work?
Yeah, well, I do. I don't provide hosting. I just use shared hosting that I really love. So what I'll do is I'll walk my customer through the entire process. Because normally, people who are not in design or web design or online tech world, it's super overwhelming. There's a domain over here that you got to have, and that's separate than the WordPress, separate than the hosting, separate than a page builder we're talking about. So it's way it's so many pieces, and if it's not your thing, like it's our thing, super confusing. So I try to just make it super simple, straightforward. I have little tutorial videos I'll make custom for my
Okay.
clients, so I show them how to go buy the hosting, not for me, but for someone. And then I integrate everything for them. Try to make it just as simple a process as possible because I want them to have the feeling when they work with me of like, weight off my
Right.
shoulders. She's got it. I don't have to freak out about this anymore.
Right. And I think it's great that you use tutorial videos because I found that helpful in my onboarding process for clients
Mhm.
is the little tutorial videos to help them take the next step. It saves your vocal cords and it
Yeah.
also helps them because they can replay it if they need to really hone in on one area, one item that you spoke about. So I think that's like an invaluable tool to use when you're onboarding or getting clients familiar to something that is typically overwhelming for those who are not in the industry. So I think that's a smart approach.
Yeah.
Now, here's what happens. Website is built, people are coming, and all that. Maintenance. There needs to be monthly maintenance.
Mhm.
So I found myself back in the day um, being, and I don't want to use this word in a derogatory way, but being forced to provide maintenance for my clients because after you walk them and shepherd them through that process, they tend to hold on to you because they trust you and they know you'll take care of them. So to do a handoff for maintenance, it sent up fire alarms and red flags and whistles and bells and all of that. Like, no, you can't leave me now.
Exactly.
So, is that part of what you provide as well?
It's a great question. I don't provide the ongoing maintenance. What I do instead, and I try to make my clients as comfortable as possible, because same thing, it's so scary to think, oh, I don't know how I'm going to deal with this, right? So for clients who feel like they just need some direction, but they're comfortable, dealing with it themselves, and most of my clients I would say are they kind of want to know the back end, at least at this maintenance level. I'll make them, again, like we talked about, videos, but I'll make them I call it a little thank you package, just Google Drive file that I share with them, that I'm making them screen sharing videos of their website, and I show them the basics. This is where you go do updates. This is where I have them change their password, after I've been
Mm-hmm.
using their password, teach them to make a really secure one. Just kind of those little videos that they always have so they can kind of check back and do that, the maintenance themselves regularly as they go forward. If someone's really not comfortable with that, I have some friends who are virtual assistants, actually quite a few friends who are virtual assistants, and some of them specialize in WordPress maintenance. And so I can then direct them to this woman. She's got your back. She knows the WordPress in and out, but she does the
Mm-hmm.
ongoing monthly packages. So that's kind of the direction I take.
Yeah. Well, I think there may also be a partnership possibility in the group because there
That
may
would be
be
lovely.
someone in the graphic designers hub who's like, "Hey, I love doing maintenance.
Hit
Add
me
me
up.
to
Let me know.
your."
Let me know. I would love to get in touch. Yeah, please message me, leave a comment if you're like, hey, we should connect for that sort of thing. I would love that.
Okay, that's great. That sounds great because I already have some people in mind that I'm thinking they may need your service as well with building the website and their coaches. So that would be helpful.
I also love
Um,
connecting with, just so everyone knows in the group, I love connecting with the designers who like different platforms. Just because I like
mm,
WordPress doesn't mean WordPress is the best, right? Personal preference.
right.
So sometimes a coach will come to me and they're like, or a different online business owner who just likes my style will say, can you do a Shopify site? And I have to say,
Mm,
I'm kind of sorry, I could, but it's not really my focus and I feel bad. So I love having friends who are web designers who I can say, but she or he does beautiful Shopify sites or Squarespace sites or Wix sites. So I love to connect with other designers.
I'm glad you brought that up because um, a lot of people think a graphic designer is a graphic designer is a graphic designer,
Mm-hmm.
and not really like we have our special areas, which they pretty much get the you're a print designer or you design for digital and things like that. But when you can also break it down another level, which is what you just explained, a person who needs a Shopify website, even though it is an online, tool for them to sell their products or services, this is not your area of expertise with Shopify. So that's another level of education that needs to be really communicated from our industry to let them know. Um, and also a part of the intake or the interest process. So you don't waste each other's time and you can point them in the direction of the resource that they need.
Exactly. Hmm.
Yeah, yeah. So, what else you want to share? Because the amazing thing I wanted to share is at the end of freebies, but anything else you want to share with the group?
Yes, you know me. I'm obsessed with freebies, so we'll get to those fun goodies as well. I would say that I love connecting with other designers, like we said. I'm also have found so much support in the designer community, both web design, branding design, online. And I love Facebook groups like this. It's been so supportive as I've been learning to grow my business online. I'm just really thankful for how supportive the community is. At first, because I have other experience, in what's the word, non-virtual jobs, like 9 to 5 sort of jobs.
Hmm.
I kind of expected an air of competition or something, that
Yeah,
like
we
it,
don't
but
have
but
it.
it's not, and I love it. It's just been more fun and enjoyable than I could have possibly imagined. So if you're like I was, and you're recently new to the online design world, whether you're doing any type of design, print or digital or web design or branding design, I'd encourage you to reach out, especially to anyone that you think, hey, I want to connect with them or ask them questions, because everyone's been so open and supportive.
Yes, and I invite you to post those questions in the group
Mhm.
because there's a wealth of knowledge here. There's people who have been in the industry upwards of 30 years, and then there are those who have been in it less than a year. But those who have been in it for a while, we can save you a lot of pain and suffering by sharing tips and advice and just giving you a different perspective on how you could approach or find a solution to a challenge that you may have. Or it's just amazing, just humanity itself and how many different perspectives we can bring and provide solutions for one another. And I just
Mhm.
love it when a plan comes together and you can hear the harmony taking place, with the engagement.
Oh, yeah.
So that leads me into Sierra is going to share with us what she has for everyone.
Yes, I am love with sharing free downloadable resources like templates just to make it easier. I design them for my coaching clients. Many of them, they like design, but they don't want to spend hours, doing it from scratch themselves. So I have a ton of Canva templates. I don't know. I know Canva is a newer design tool, but I love it because I can share it with my clients and it makes it just easy for them. So I have on my website, if you go to sierralindesign.com/freebies, there is just a huge library of downloadable templates. I've got templates to help you write website copy. I've also got templates that are the Canva templates to make the digital products mock-ups, where you're showing like your service or your course or your offer in an appealing way for your sales page. I've got lead magnet templates if you want to make a checklist, a guide, or an ebook on there. Social media sharing templates, things just meant to save people time when they're trying to
Mhm.
showcase their business and their offers online.
Well, those are worth their weight in gold. And
Yes, they're very fun.
thank you so much for sharing them. And thank you so much for being on the show. And I look forward to chatting it up with you inside the group, as well as everybody else. So thank you so much for being
Thank
here.
you for having me.
All right.